Hi there. Today we will be looking at the Praxis of the Philosophy Part 4. We will be talking about the energy fields or fields of energy that surround everything that is alive, that exists. These fields of energies are also perceived as bubbles or circles of protection, and the auric field keys into that. Overall, I would call it the electromagnetic field and the physics in how it operates within you and around you and with others or things around you. In the last of the darkening of the philosophy, that was a previous video. I'll put the link at the bottom. I was touching briefly on the philosophy and why it was important to grasp it fully. And this is why I've decided to give you the praxis of the philosophy in bite sizes so that it makes more sense for those that are interested in it. Essentially, we are going to be talking about how to understand what energy fields are, and that which is what is within you and around you, that it requires attentiveness. You need to become aware of it. So on the fields within the Taurus model, I have brought that up as well. The relationship between the fields of the energy in the Taurus model, which is a metaphysical representation of the world as it exists. And in the previous one I mentioned to you about the Leviathan, which is the big fat snake, greedy snake that likes to eat stories or tales, or its tail. There is energy reacting to energy. So you're always going to find energy reaction and energy within itself. The realm has been perceived as a mirror for quite a long time, thanks to, unfortunately, the Kabbalah and the Gnostics and everybody else that jumped on the same wagon that just spins the same story over and over. That old Leviathan, of course, that it's all based on a mirror world. So essentially, let me say this to you, that it is not really a mirror world, but an actual reflective surface of an idea, of a belief, of an existence, of you. You look at yourself in a reflective surface and you are receiving the frequency coming back to you. So it is about sending and receiving energy, sending and receiving frequency, like a radio station going forward and coming back. There must be some receiver to receive the frequency, especially when another one has sent it through, especially even from yourself. So you're looking at the frequency of this realm, this material world, its existence, and all the levels of interconnected subtle realms as reflective of each other. Okay, not mirrors, but reflective. Okay, there's a difference between those two ideas, those two senses. Please do yourself a favor and research what is the difference between reflective and mirror. It's okay. People mirror each other. In other words, people imitate people. Animals imitate animals. There is imitation. Imitation is a mirror or mirroring of another person or thing or place or thing. Okay. So, in other words, it's important to understand that there was then built a belief of duality, which again, like I said, Kabbalah, Gnostics, whatever you want to call it, their focus on the mirror and the duality in itself, saying that light and dark are mirrors of each other, which in actual fact it's not. It's just reflective of energy in terms of its frequency towards the other one. This is why I'm saying to you that there is light and there is dark, but one is a different frequency than the other, but it doesn't mean that it is not complementary to one another. It can be, or it can also be in harmony with one another, but it is certainly not a mirror of each other at all. Just because that there's a I think I've made my point there. So if there's a belief in duality, and that's still something that keeps going forward in this, then there's a mirror to support that. Okay. If we are focused on harmony, balance, and harmony and balance within ourselves, then there is no acknowledgement of mirror world, but an awareness of reflection. And reflection is then a relationship to the energy that is sent forward and received from it. In other words, cause and effect, and so forth. And the reason that the whole veneration of the duality world and the mirror world, it's the same thing. Of course, it's being presented in many of these Western philosophies, even in Eastern philosophies. I actually, especially the esoteric aspects of it, what you're actually then hearing is we like to worship things outside of ourselves, because that is based on that principle. And that is part of the illusion, and that is part of the breaking down of the illusion as it is happening right now as we speak. For those of you who have eyes to see and ears to hear, you have noticed that the illusions have been breaking down quite radically over the last few months, and has come to a point where it's almost peaked in its existence, so that you are able to see that there is a frequency that can actually alter things that have always been the same. Let me say this. That old Leviathan in itself is losing its potential of power over the people that build the stories, or the people that worship the stories, to associate themselves, to identify themselves as the people that write information about psychology. Jung, that wrote about himself as being the Antichrist, because that means that he is essentially supporting something that is related to Vedanta, Tantra, and whatever you want to call it. All these people that have put in all of these things, they all focus on duality. And duality means that essentially him saying that he's the Antichrist is him saying that he's also the Christ. And that is what I'm saying to you. I don't proclaim myself to be anything other than who I am is who I am, and what I am is what I am. Because that is who I am. You're seeing an image of me, I'm talking to you, I'm giving you information here, and you are deciding how you want to accept to hear it. How you deal with it is what is within you. And you are in exactly the same way. You are who you are because of who you are, because of what you do. You don't buy into. And again, like I said, this is just for those that are interested in the bite sizes of the philosophy, that you are essentially not feeding anything, any story, anything of yourself. You are focused solely on who you are, in your true identical being of who you are. And when I say identical, I'm saying identity is yours in your mind's eye of who you are. I'm not using the word ID, identification, to explain who you are. I'm saying you are who you are, because there is that building of a frequency inside of you that then lends itself to feeding or filling up or giving you, through your wisdom, an energy field of protection, of whatever you want to call it. You are not a mirror image. You are not a dualist. You are not a person that is buying into any duality in this or in that, or in the illusions of the realm. You are not buying into any of those things. You simply just are who you are. And that is your passage, your protection. That is your coin, your protection, your field around you. That becomes your cloak of protection. You fill your cloak of protection or your energy field with that. Because remember, the world essentially sees itself as a dual mirror image of itself, and it's just going in illusionary cycles over and over and over, and the snake just keeps eating its own tail. It's looking for stories, and you are simply unaffected by that, because you have claimed your true identity of who you are. And that is how you build your energy field, by claiming yourself to be who you are. You are love. You are loved. You are kindness. You are gentle you are, and the stronger these emotional feelings are in terms of love, you are loved by the original creative force for being unique and whole. That means the more you are loved, the more you stand strong in your energetic field, the more you are unaffected by the mundane sea of illusions, because that is what it is. That is simply what the energetic field is not. Okay, so I'm leaving that with you. I hope this has given you some inspiration and ideas and whatever, affirmations. Download all the philosophies and you'll have it with you. I did think of actually writing about it, but there are just way too many thieves out there, so I'm just giving it to you verbatim so that you have it on hand. Yeah, and like, share, and subscribe if this has helped you. Thank you so much. Until next time. Bye.